I don't know. But yeah, shout out to everybody for making this event great because I'm having a blast. Also, it's open bar for the players all event long.
That's what Swindles is really happy
Take notes,
about.
organizers.
That's what he's really happy about. Everything else actually doesn't mean
important
anything.
when you have an open bar.
It's just the open bar.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been 2 minutes. I believe my summoning process should be complete, and we have the draft now.
Bam. OG once again going to ban Furion. MVP actually going to ban Lone Druid first this game. I believe they did it second last game. I'm not sure.
It was in the first phase, at least.
Yeah, but it's always interesting because a lot of times when drafts are the same, you switch up like what you first and second ban because it just throws people off. We also do
minor mind
this,
game,
yeah, and we do this weird thing. So if we lose the toss in game 2, we'll always sit on the side we're not going to take. So if we're going to take Dire, we'll sit on Radiant. They'll think we're taking first pick. We're like, no, Dire. But sometimes you next level and you sit on Dire and then choose Dire and like, oh shit, what do we do now?
Triple
then no one knows. Yeah. It's like rock, paper, scissors, man.
I actually want to know right now if any players from any other teams are listening to me and they've faced complexity and dealt with this, if they've actually ever been tripped up by that, or if this is just you guys like.
I have no idea, dude. We're probably just mind gaming ourselves, but I don't know.
It probably feels good. You're like, yeah, we mind game them real hard.
All we do is chill in our house and just talk about Dota. So. Just wait till I mean, we have so many level 1 Rosh strats.
I mean, you do what you can, right?
You should check it every game. Just saying. They do first pick Earth Spirit. Big surprise.
It's an OG Earth Spirit, actually, so I think that's crit playing it.
Yeah, I think so as well. He's traditionally the melee hero that does things and flies, just like the Dazzler. They do ban the Invoker from OG. And then MVP actually chooses to ban the OD. So they just don't want to play.
What was the ban last game from MVP first phase?
I don't think it was Enigma. What was it? I can't remember. Oh, did I call it?
There it is. Swindles called it. Game number 3. Everything on the line here at Dota Pit, and MVP. They go
really glad they took Io. I think Io is one of those heroes. I mean, Earth Spirit's pretty much Bounty Hunter on steroids, but Io is good against him the same way he's good against Bounty, and that, as Simon put, like Io doesn't really do anything in the early game. However, if there's a hero that's only real task is going to be to try and kill your teammates, Io becomes amazing because now your turnaround's great.
Yeah.
The W cooldown on Earth Spirit is like 16 seconds, so he's in, then he's in. And if you can turn it around, that's going to be probably 1 at maybe 2 kills. And it's just really solid. I love the Bristle opener. I would not be surprised to see OG pick a Necrophos. They like that hero a lot, and it's incredibly good against both Io and Bristle.
Yeah.
They do still have, and again, Earth Spirit's still a very solid hero, but this opener from MVP makes a lot more sense to me than their last one. I liked the Ench Lion. We talked about it. We praised it. The one weakness of that is they picked what ended up being both supports in your first phase. And I've talked about this a lot, but if you watch Chinese, like when the Chinese Dota was, good Dota, still might be, but they have to stop like sleeping in and shit. But if you pick both your supports in the opener, it gives away a lot.
Yeah.
You almost always see the Chinese traditionally, specifically like the old school captains like ROTK and Zhao 8, they will always take support and core and a support third. And they save their 4 and 5 for their 2 cores. And it makes a lot more sense from that perspective. And it hides a lot of your draft because previous game, you kind of knew the style of game they were going for. They know that, okay, this is probably going to be in a Jungle Enchantress. They can set up for a 4th pick CM. It just makes life a lot easier. But Simon.
I like his opener as well. It makes a lot of sense for MVP. And obviously Enigma, which is, I think is a very good response to this.
I agree.
But the reason I like the Bristle Wisp is just, it's a very classic MVP Phoenix hero combination. And while it does kind of give some things away, it can also put it so you can put it in mid, you can put it off lane, safe lane. It's not the greatest, but you can do it. And it has to be one of their best land win percentage.
I told you they'd bring it back. It's like that's what you think of as just vintage MVP. It's the 2 heroes that you just think about. They're just in.
Yeah.
Enigma is a great pick from OG. Would have certainly been banned by MVP in the second phase. The only thing here is that, once again, OG has given away what they're doing. Unless Miracle's been playing Earth Spirit mid a bunch, which is possible.
I think it would be a no-tail hero if there was going to be a core.
You think?
If it was going to be a core Earth Spirit, I think it's no-tail, but
maybe.
That's true. I mean, they're probably going to keep Miracle on those
exactly. But I think
right?
the Enigma is a great response to like a Wisp.
I agree. I think it's just a lot of drafting. They do kind of give away both supports, but if I'm MVP, I'm thinking, oh shit, is someone playing that Earth Spirit mid? But Enigma is just so good against both Io and Bristle. In my opinion, one of the best Io counters because you're naturally going to be able to outpace him. You're going to farm faster. You're going to accelerate faster. You're going to get the mech faster, take towers earlier, etc. So
and Wisp doesn't punish you at all.
Yeah, exactly. Like Wisp literally can't do anything. If they're going to punish you, it's with Wisp +1 running into your jungle, and you're doing your job then. And as we've seen Fear do countless times, Enigma can farm, especially on Radiant, which OG is, in literally 3 different locations that are so far apart. He can just sit at that one hard camp up in top lane and just chill.
Yeah, by the
maybe deny from the wave and just farm that camp every minute. He'll do more than a dual roaming IO will. So we'll just have to see how the draft continues to develop. They banned Lion Spectre. I like both those bans. MVP obviously has shown dominance and comfort with Lion. They're going to ban Brood again from MVP and Jug again. I don't know if I like the Jug pick, especially third. I am not a huge fan.
I mean, Healing Ward with Bristleback.
They seem to really like that combination, just for the Healing Ward, I think.
Yeah.
They run it a lot, actually.
That was another MVP.
Yeah.
It's okay. I feel like it's just giving away too much. You see now the core of MVP. These are the heroes you need to deal with. OG, you've got 3 picks left and they're all cores. What do you want to do? Right now there's,
do you think there was any danger of OG actually picking Juggernaut for themselves?
A little bit, but I don't think it matches up well at all against like a Bristle Wisp offlane. So I don't think.
Yeah.
So they could have saved it for.
Yeah, they could have saved it for sure, I think.
I think this is going to just be, and this is the beauty of OG's draft right now, and why Enigma is also so strong, is you now have an Earth Spirit that can pretty much go anywhere. I expect OG to pick 2 more self-sufficient solo heroes now to finish their draft, and now the Earth Spirit can pretty much be wherever he wants. The Enigma's going to farm, and they're in one of those situations where, Disruptor, ooh, jeez. It's
kind of like that, actually.
It's not bad. I'm not sure I like it. I feel like MVP loses this game if they get run over, and Disruptor is like the anti-hero for
He
them.
matches up well against the heroes in a scenario where they're like even, but he needs. It's sort of a struggle to get there against an Enigma, I feel.
Yeah. I mean, I got one of the best Disruptor players, maybe the best in the world on my team, and I still don't pick the hero. He asks for it all the time. I just don't think it's good.
The
Unfortunately.
Huntskin Disruptor back on NIP was a legend.
That's why if I let the Swedes take over, man, it'd be just
great.
Ursa,
We get-
Visage,
Aren't you a
all
little
day.
bit afraid that they outnumber you? They're just gonna overthrow.
Nah, dude. We got Josh, man.
You know, it was great when
right.
Chesty was coaching us. He was like, "Just pick Disruptor, man. Just do it every time." I'm like, yes.
PL, that's a solid pick. And again, it's just, I expect that to be middle. We've seen MVP, actually, they brought it to the scene. The PL middle against the IO +1. If they go on you, he's going to buy a wand, he's going to lance the IO, and they're going to try and kill him. At Earth Spirit Rock, he's dead. No problem.
Yeah.
So a self-sufficient hero then for OG, because you're talking about the Earth Spirit Darkseer combo. What's left that they could possibly get their hands on that is also aggressive enough, because you have a PL and a Phantom Lancer, excuse me, a Phantom Lancer and Darkseer. Those are 2 more static cores that aren't going to make a whole lot happen early.
I think it's really going to be determined about by MVP's picks, because it needs to be most likely a statement solo against MVP's last big offlaner.
Yeah.
I expect the PL to match up against the Wisp Bristle mid, unless MVP has something else in mind. So wait, they changed it up. So this is the Wisp Bristle.
I like that
offlaner.
though. Ember is actually incredible against pretty much all these heroes, but Earth Spirit, it's pretty weak against Earth Spirit just because he has double disables that are pretty difficult for you to dodge.
I don't think he dies that easily to PL Earth Spirit though.
No, the problem is when you slight in a creep wave, you leave the remnant, and a good Earth Spirit just kicks a rock, and you're stunned. It's the same as like Marana Arrow, hitting perfectly on an OD banish. You cannot dodge it. You can't do anything. So you just kind of die. However, it matches up incredibly well against Enigma, Darkseer, and PL. I consider him probably a pretty hard counter to all of those heroes. So it'll be interesting to see how OG addresses this. I was thinking Clinks for a while, but I don't know if they can get away with it in this draft.
I don't think that's what they're looking for.
I don't either. I'm not really sure, to be honest. The ideal would probably be like a Furion or some... You know what it might be? It might be a Doom.
Weaver.
Okay.
So I guess that's Miracle Weaver, no-tail PL then.
I don't think so. I think it's the no-tail Weaver for sure.
No-tail played a fun. Okay,
Called
Miracle
it.
PL.
Come on, dog. I'm on fire today, man. I can't believe they brought out the Wisp Bristle. That's crazy.
Predictions.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting game. I think drafts are relatively even. It's going to just come down to everything in this matchup. It's always Ember versus PL. So if PL can get the defusal before the Battle Fury's up, huge advantage for OG. If Ember can get the bots, Battle Fury, Blink, etc., and start accelerating, the PL will never get a good foothold in the game, and Weaver's not going to outcarry him. So it's just going to come down to play for the most part, and we'll see who executes better.
Hans, can you agree?
Yeah, I sort of agree. It's going to come down to a lot about what Kyo can do. I think he's like the sort of the playmaker in this team with the heroes. The Ember and the Disruptor have to do a lot of work in. Yeah, the Wisp and the Bristle has to do a lot of work against the Weaver too, which is kind of a rough matchup.
Yeah, you can't really kill him. So again, like OG, very self-sufficient solos, and the Earth Spirit rotating to any of these lanes can potentially score a kill, which is really what you want.
Yeah, I would really like MVPs like sort of go for some kind of like trying to block the enemy jungler.
Yeah, for sure. They have to do something to address him, but I'd say this game's relatively 50-50. It'll just come down to plays, but I agree with Simon. QO, the key to MVP. If he doesn't do well, they will not win.
50-50 for game number 3. Let's take it to Durka and Blitz to get our game number 3 underway.
Thanks, guys. One of these teams can be joining Complexity further through the bracket. MVP against OG. Game number 3 in this best of 3. And Blitz, we've got some interesting lanes panning out. What's going on here? Weaver for no tail, Flies Enigma, but Miracle taking that Phantom Lancer from Southeast Asia TNC MVP. You know, they kind of brought it to the big stage. How do you think it's going to fare here up against them?
I think it does okay. I think they were hoping that it would be the Wisp dual lane, but MVP almost never do that, especially when they have the Bristle. They want to get aggressive with that dual lane and apply a lot of pressure. I think that's why they gave No Tail the Weaver, just so he has a hero that just can't die. Is essentially the goal here, so that Crit and Fly can pretty much do whatever they want. And they have heroes that aren't the best at zoning or anything like that, so they needed self-sufficient cores, and they really got them.
Well, QO Ember Spirit, it's been a while since I've seen this. MP, oh No Tail, you sneaky little devil, not gonna get it! The Shikuchi across, will not secure himself the bounty rune, and he'll take the brunt of damage from the Thunderstrike as well, so double bounty. For MVP, you look at Febby and he hasn't gone for the bottle rush, but he's not too far away from it. You know, still with Dust and Sentries, expecting the Weaver to be in this lane, but OG, they've pulled a fast one. They've actually moved No Tail up the top. Miracle's PL going to be facing up against QO's Ember Spirit mid, the Earth Spirit just behind, trying to deal with this lane, but Fly Jungle, they've basically left 3 solo laners here for OG, with 1 roamer, 1 jungler. Does this leave them weak at any point?
I think sometimes you can get away with this, and this is like one of the few instances where you pick all 3 cores that are self-sufficient, and you've got a hero like the Darkseer who doesn't really lose this matchup just because it's melee on melee. The Weaver can't ever die to that Juggernaut, and most importantly, mid QO, he's going to get gone on immediately, and he's getting really low. This might actually...
This is the salve. An already statement of intent from Crit to this Earth Spirit. Will stick around mid. He's got another Rolling Boulder in, and if you've burnt through QO's regen already, you know, you're looking at his build. He's gone for the Poor Man's Shield, as well as that Phantom Lancer following through, but bottles are going to be a little bit slower for this lane. So anything that Crit can do to delay that even further and give the 1-up to Miracle and allow him to sustain a little bit heavier as Zargo down a bottom lane, Moon Meander. Surge away, no stuns or anything like that to hold him in place. It's just damage output from Forever. The Bristleback and the Wisp.
And that's the lane that you still have to respect. There is some damage, but there is no stun available, so Moon should be relatively okay in that lane. If he wants, all he has to do is really play back, just so he doesn't die, but still, the rest of the cores are doing okay right now. The Weaver is getting zoned out.
QO, though, he's already used his Flame Guard. The Rolling Boulder will hit him in the lance into the face. QO being stabbed in the back by Miracle. The Fairy Fire with the Wisp coming in the tether. Hello, Febby, what's up? Saves his mate and another self through. Ember Spirit by the skin of his teeth. Stays alive on mid lane.
Well, no bottle available for him, and now he doesn't really have a lot of presence in the lane. He does have the 2nd level, the Flame Guard, so it doesn't almost immediately just go away like it used to, but the top No Tail, getting harassed out, should be okay. And just because the advantage that the jungle is affording them right now with this Enigma, once again, looking for potentially the push into the tower from the Earth Spirit. Probably going to wait out this Flame Guard actually from QO, and this is so dangerous for QO as he's pressing up at the wrong moment right now. Crit's got the angle.
He's shoved the wave up and he's actually going towards this tier 1. What's he up to? QO, he's going to get slowed, kicked, rolled, and that's it. QO's Ember Spirit. There's no saving grace here now. He's just going to get right-click down. Miracle should be able to secure your first blood. Phantom Lancer. 900 gold in the bank, and that's a great start for him.
And Crit just keeping with it. He's like, if it doesn't work the first time and the second time, I'll make sure it does the 3rd time. He just happens to pick up the Invis rune. That's persistence at its key, and I mean, they've got an Enigma farming, so he can pretty much get away with this. And because, yeah, No Tail isn't doing the best at top, but he is against a pretty rough lane with the Disruptor. And his other lanes are doing pretty well right now. Like, they're holding even.
Yeah, as long as No Tail is getting levels, I think he's perfectly happy up there, because Moon Meander, level 4.5, he's got Bottle, going to be heading into that Soul Ring a little bit faster as well. And like you said, Flies Enigma in the jungle, fully uncontested. The only thing is the dire sentry ward that was actually placed towards the medium camp. It looks like it didn't block it off at all. So, an attempt by MVP, but didn't work out for them. No Tail, he is at risk of death. With a sentry ward already down from MVP, they've got catch, they've got damage. No Tail does have to be quick on his fingers, getting that Shikuchi and the distance away from that Juggernaut. But again, look at where Crit is standing. They've got vision of QO, they know what he's up to, and he is so passive, so paranoid, just sitting up on top of that high ground and waiting for his moment to try and bail away. Moonmeander though, down at the bottom lane, he snipes at the bounty rune, but he might be in trouble here. 3 seconds till surge, bottle charges, keep him alive.
This is doing a
for
lot
now.
of damage to him.
The stacks are being built up and the quill sprays. Moonmeander gets out of range of them just barely, and it looks like he's going to try and TP out as he pushes himself over to the side shop, and Forev
They guessed wrong.
with Febby.
26 HP. Forev is not going to be able to get this as Moonmeander makes the clean escape. Barely gets away, but gotta be careful. Even though they don't have the stun, the amount of damage that they was able to do with the 3 levels of the quill spray, he definitely did not anticipate that.
Crit is still wandering around the mid lane looking for QO. If you can get another couple of kills on him, this Ember Spirit, sure enough, he can farm jungle reasonably well with Poor Man's Shield and Flame Guard. And once he gets that level 6, farming safely with the Remnants is pretty good. MP hunting No Tail's Weaver up at top. He hides through in the trees. The kinetic field is down. He's going to be held in place. And with a Blade Fury down, No Tail, a relatively smooth takeout there for MVP.
Oh, still mid. QO's going to get gone on. He's going to get healed up.
Fairby trying to save him. Do they have stick charges? There's nothing, but he's just got the tether. Keeping QO safe, but Lance comes through again for a miracle. The damage burst is good enough, and Crit bottled up. Saved, but not quite enough. Oh, that was a close one, but the glimpse back onto Miracle. The triple Remnants shows forward with the Serum Chains and a QO. MVP, good reactions from Dubu coming into this middle lane, mitigating their losses.
Really well done by QO. Immediately going for that as the PL wasn't able to get the doppelganger down onto the low ground. Recognizing that's the real one. Absolutely no hesitation from him at all, as that's going to help him so much in this lane. As the Phantom Lancer, he wasn't getting an absurd amount ahead, but with the first blood and the extra kill to go along with it, it was a comfortable lead.
They tried to kill off the Bristleback down a bottom lane, but with stick treads and that stout shield, even with the level 1 swarm from No Tail, the minus armor was ticking up, but they didn't have enough control to actually kill him. And Miracle, this is a dangerous rune to go for. He has got the doppelganger, and he's going to have to jump himself away, but he's going for the kill to Dubu first. The Serum Chains are out, and the kinetic field is dropped, but Miracle is over towards the ramp. He's got the real one in the correct place, and the lance onto Dubu will slow, but it's not quite enough just yet. This illusion, another lance, and Febby, he tried his hardest, but they couldn't keep the disruptor alive. Kick will be off the mark, close but no cigar,
Miracle's
and
gonna
Febby,
get another
Miracle,
kill.
you're right, he just chases them deep into the tier 2, and he's looking for QO as well. MP with the slack back, and the Miracle takes him out of the black hole. Forev's Bristleback trapped in place, and Miracle given all the space in the world, but space doesn't save you from the quill sprays of Forev. MVP, clean up 4.
And they don't even lose Forev there, as that was the best engagement that they were going to get in the early game. Despite all the work that OG did trying to focus on the laning phase, it all just comes apart at the seams right there. They're still in a really comfortable position, but whatever lead that they had just built up kind of felt like a waste.
And in quick succession, that's 2 1,500 gold swings for MVP. Suddenly get themselves, a great amount of net worth. Not just on the Juggernaut, who came in to rotate for that team fight, but Ember Spirit, Bristleback. Now, 3 of the top 4 net worths here are MVPs.
I think the only hero that didn't die there was No Tail, but he's got so little net worth and his levels aren't so significant that getting a kill on him would have been worth it. It was really getting the kill on Miracle and the Darkseer that really cemented that fight for them. Especially slowing down Fly, who is truly getting a lot in the jungle. He was pretty uncontested, but then he just kind of walks into you and dies and uses his first black hole and it doesn't lead to anything. That's going to be breath of relief for you.
For sure. And Febby, not only has he been moving from bot lane to mid lane, controlling runes and saving his teammates, nearly denies the tower there down at bottom, but he had been building up stacks as well for Forev. Clearing through a triple ancient stack there and actually getting incredibly close to that mech for the Bristleback. Now this is something that MVP have liked for what, 2 years, 2.5 years, the Bristle plus Wisp combo with the mech build as well, and you just snowball out of control. It is their bread and butter, right?
Yeah, it's just so you have the turnaround potential, you've got a hero that can frontline for both the Jug and the Ember Spirit, and it just kind of scouts out a hard way So he kind of just tells Q, okay, this is an okay fight for you to take. Kind of like how DK Phobos was playing the Spirit Breaker. You just want to create a lot of chaos with this hero.
Just run at people and see how they react. Because if you bait out a couple of TPs, you're tanky enough to maybe battle through the damage output that's thrown at you, and then retreat. You just take the damage off the other lanes. But QO, he's taking a lot of damage himself. Will Remnant back towards the tier 1, and he can TP back to Fountain, refill his bottle. Gonna make the long walk back, actually.
Yeah. It was actually still in a pretty good spot, despite how the laning phase went. They're immediately going to go for the smoke, even with the empty bottle. And the good news for OG is, even though they had that kind of rough fight where they lost 4, their 2 supports are still getting a lot more than MVPs because they're playing relatively defensively. But with the level 6 on Dubu, they're looking for some sort of engagement, trying to see if they can pick off No-Tail. But I don't even think he's the ideal target here. Maybe even if you get Fly and you can delay his mech.
I mean, sharing is caring here. Febi's giving QO his bottle. Get that mana regen going, allowing him to get the Flame Guard Remnant forward onto Fly. We'll get the Searing Chains down onto Enigma as well. There's no black hole, but there will be QO getting himself a kill until the stun silence come down onto Ember Spirit, and he can't. Oh, yes, he can! Remnants up to the high ground with a slow Remnant forward. Static Storm, Miracle cannot land, cannot catch QO, and the Ember Spirit, no mana remaining. Force
is he not going to get him?
Waiting for it. They're not going to kill him off. And Miracle, they barely take him out of the very last segment. Critters walked into the death zone.
So much.
This is not where you want to be. No terrible time lapse away. But oh gee, oh dear.
And No-Tail's going to run back in. He doesn't have his ultimate available. He's going to get run out. Luckily for him, no stuns available, as Dubu already dropped the ultimate, but QO really made that life work for him. He was able to bait Phantom Lancer even deeper and deeper. Really good engagement for them as the Bristle just gets more and more ahead, and now it's going to lead to an immediate Roshan from MVP, as OG doesn't really look like they're prepared to fight for this, as Fly immediately TP top, thinking they were going to get some sort of response out of this, but MVP, they're just like, okay, we'll send Q up here, he'll pick up some free levels. OG are getting pretty aggressive on him at top, and they've even got the eye on the Remnant too.
And they catch QO, black hole to secure, and the wall dropped by Moon as well. They were desperate for that one, but Blitz, I have to ask you a question. We're seeing all these team fights, all of these engagements for MVP, where they're getting, 1,000 gold, 1,500 swing from OG. But you look at the graph, and OG are in the lead in terms of net worth. What are they doing right?
They're just taking towers. They're doing a really good job of getting all these objectives, and most importantly, again, it's the 2 supports on MVP that are getting really underfarmed, and the 2 supports on OG are keeping up. Like Earth Spirit, yeah, he's relatively low, but he's not really a hero that really relies on net worth. You just kind of need levels, as we saw in the game where Dubu dominated with him, and the Enigma continues to scale on net worth. He's got the mech almost completed for him. So OG are still in a fine position. Got a lot of cores to work with. They've got tons of team fight. MVP, they've just got the frontliner that they need though in Forev. He's got the Vid booster now to go along with the mech and the wands. And now they've got an Aegis on a really tough to kill Juggernaut.
Once they get that Diffusal Blade on Miracle though, things are going to start turning nasty for MVP, and they've got mech on Fly as well. You're kind of just waiting for the black hole to come back off cooldown. No-Tail. Not too much to his name. Glimpse back. They're going to catch with a kick. 2-man stun. Dubu MP. Starts up with this relocate as well. The magnetized relocate forward. You're right. Doppelganger to the high ground. A Miracle. Which one's real? Which one's fake? He turns back. He tries to bait. The illusion runs across, but I think they've spotted. They know which one is the true Phantom Lancer. And Miracle swiped down by QO.
And QO doesn't have the best net worth, which OG still have going for them, but the other 2 cores are just becoming so monstrous right now. Like Forev at 6,800 net worth, 12 minutes into the game, he's already one of the hardest heroes to kill in Dota flat out. And in this game alone, they're gonna have such a tough time dealing with him.
Pass the bottle apparently. QO and Febi. Wait, who's got which bottle now? They've returned them to their original owners. There we go.
That's a free tier 1 tower taken with relative ease. Fly immediately goes to the split push. This is the right idea. They are pretty immobile, and the kill potential is low if they don't have the relocate. So I think they've got the right idea here, and they make the move for mid, but he still does have the Aegis.
What are we seeing from these 2 mid heroes now? Whoa, hang on a second. Moon Meander. What are you up to, buddy? Searing Chains will catch the Darks here, but Moon wants to continue punching that Ember Spirit. Don't know if he was waiting for the rest of his team to maybe wander themselves down to bot lane because he is all alone. The chains will miss him. QO with a DD rune. He'll try and swipe away at Moon Meander with a sleight of fist as well. Moon, he surges.
Oh, he's got to have some really fancy footwork if he's going to get out of this one.
I'm not sure about it, mate. A Remnant forward and Moon. What was the idea behind the wall there onto QO?
I'm not sure. Maybe just apply some pressure so that you can get something going mid, but they are going to grab the mid tower, which is pretty significant for their cause, and it looks like the relocate's coming in.
Oh, Bristol back, kicks up. Older smash is there, but MP is looking for this Omni Slash. He's waiting, maybe for a doppelganger or maybe for Fly. The good target over to the side. Fly's Enigma dropping low with the mech, and No Tail tanking up a little bit of damage there. MP just turned on, but Aegis of Immortal is still available, and a relocate back to safety. Does this leave them open for Forev and QO? Nah.
No, Forev is like the last hero that you want to try to kill.
Absolute monstrosity. Vanguard and Buckler on top of mech.
Yeah, he's almost got the Crimson Guard to go along with it. It's going to be really hard to kill him this early on into the game. You pretty much just have to ignore him and hope that he doesn't deal that much damage in the middle of the fights. And it is going to be kind of hard for him to keep up with cores like the Phantom Lancer, the Darkseer, and the Weaver, which OG really have going for them. He's really gonna have to rely on QO to be able to get some farm so that he can initiate with chains.
Oh, they baited out the doppelganger with a glimpse. At least just keeping Miracle on his toes and making him feel a little more unsafe than maybe he should be behind his own tier 2.
Yeah, this is a really early tier 2 tower push too. And this is gonna get them a lot of map controls. OG, they really don't want to give this up if they have to, but with the Aegis still available and Forev frontlining, I don't really know how they take this fight.
And what do they have to stop the black hole? I guess Duba's positioning here has to be key. They'll scout him out with the Phantom Lancer Illusion. Great play there by Miracle. Looking for the out for MVP, because once a black hole lands, what do they have to stun him up?
It's really just the Ember Spirit long range initiation, and at top, No Tail gets gone on, and he didn't have mana, or he actually already used the time lapse, but it was not going to be able to get the kill. And it just looks like MVP, they're just going to be thorough. They're going to go from lane to lane, take him out one by one. It's going to reset the glyph, luckily for OG, which might slow things down a little bit, but MVP look really strong right now.
So with Fly's Enigma now, with Mech Black Hole, do you want to be on the defensive, or do you want to be going and pushing into tier 2s of your own?
I think if you're OG, essentially at some point you have to just kind of put your foot down and say we're gonna fight for this tower. And it looks like the bottom one is kind of where they're going for, especially with the Aegis down on the Juggernaut now. But again, you have to cut through Forev. Like, he's always just going to be the frontliner for MVP.
I guess once they have Diffusal, they'll be able to burn through his mana, but at this point, almost untouchable, and Crit is actually caught off to the side. He'll try and roll himself away, potentially. No, he kicks back onto QO with the Wisp coming in. QO, there's no risk of death or danger and No Tail. This poor little Weaver, the bug is trapped into the storm as well, and Kinetic Field will hold him for QO. Maybe just swap him down with the back wall. Moon Meander tries to keep No Tail alive. They've still got him though, and No Tail will get ripped to shreds as Miracle, he's still in the thick of things. No Omni Slash, no chains, no slight, nothing left to actually catch him off guard, and the rest of OG are being bullied back by Forev, going 3v1. Who have they got? No glimpse there.
They are going to take this tower though, and getting the kill on top of that was just icing on the cake for them. As I don't think they really expected OG to fight, but OG sort of had to in that position. Otherwise, you're pretty much just conceding that you're going to give up all these tier 2 towers, and that gives MVP's lineup way too much momentum. Can't give Forev even more of a gold lead at this point. QO is really caught up, and the 3 melee cores from MVP, they lead the top of the net worth charts. And this is definitely not what you wanted to see if you're OG.
About 2 minutes until we find out when Roshan respawns, and there's 1 tier 2 remaining down on bottom lane. But MVP, not really under that much pressure to go and force the issue. And just sit back. Maybe what are the next big ticket items that MVP are looking for here to finish off?
Battle Fear on the Ember Spirit for sure before the next fight. You can start to get some armor items now on Forev as well. The Jug now has the Diffusal Blade, which is going to be really effective against a lot of the heroes, especially the Darkseer when he tries to go for the Surge. Moon Meander going for the Quick Blink and the Plate Mill himself. So this is kind of a hard game for OG, because I think MVP feels really comfortable going late game with the type of cores that they have, especially since the Weaver is so far behind.
So Forev doesn't go SNY, goes into an AC or something like that?
It looks like he is going to go for the SNY himself. I think it's a fine choice. I think this is what he normally goes for anyways. I just thought there was some merit in going for the armor, just so he could deal with some of the physical damage. But I guess OG, not even in the best position to deal off physical damages. Miracle is a lot further behind schedule in items.
I'm just looking at the clock and thinking this game feels like, 25, 30 minutes in, 18 and a half minutes, 6-14. 10,600 net worth on this bristleback. You don't usually expect him to be outstripping everyone.
Maybe you could get the start here as Moon Meander, if he can vacuum him into the black hole. But Kyo's gonna spot this out, just immediately get out.
Meanwhile, the rest of them down in bottom lane. The final hour tower will be taken, and they're actually pinging onto high ground towards the tier 3. I think Kyo, if he can, giving away his life here, maybe not the best idea, but if he can keep OG occupied up at top, the rest of his team can actually push hardcore into that high ground area.
Yeah, he does have the Remnant available too, but OG, they do not want to give this up. Not even that much damages. The Midnight Pulse, one of the best ways to deal with the Bristleback. You see him go down really low here.
He is dropping very quickly indeed. MP with a Blade Fury will try and keep himself alive. The mech from Forever and Fly. He's got man for Black Hole now, but there's no real good target.
They're just zoning around him.
MVP, perfect positioning. Not allowing an instance for Fly to think, I can turn around here, and he buys back. They want to try and fight this. They've got to try and fight this.
They don't have the glyph. They've got to take this fight.
Chains back onto Moon Meander. That Blink Dagger, can he utilize it fully? He needs this opportunity, but Dubu, positioning, always so great. Far back on the end of the fight. Waiting for the glimpse. Waiting for the Static Storm. Waiting for that counter initiation.
And this pause is going to give OG especially some time to think about how they want to engage this. They use the buyback already on their Enigma. They're not catching up whatsoever in the net worth just because MVP is moving like a juggernaut from lane to lane, taking down the towers for free. At some point, OG, they have to make a stand like we've said in the past. Because of the fact that the team that was meant to win like the laning phase pretty handily, and then you had a greedy Enigma jungle on top of that, they did not expect to be in this position, but maybe it starts here as Frev is getting pretty low, but it's deceptive as he's got Febby with almost a full bottle.
Look at that. Comes in with the Arcanes back up to full mana pretty much. The buyback from Fly comes to nothing.
I think he had to do it there though. Without the glyph available, they want to make sure losing a set of racks this early into the game, MVP would just mow you down.
Big man returns to his cave. MVP not going to scout it out just yet. Relatively quick spawn time, and they've got other things on their mind. They know that OG, they definitely are nowhere near their peak. All about initiation from here. Who gets the jump first? It's Forev that pokes his head around the trees and sees Miracle and breaks the smoke. Forev, he will get hit on the backside by the boulder smash, but
could be a great fight for them.
Dubu, there's the lance forward. He doesn't have the greatest of initiation. Stack Storm is dropped already, but Fly, Omni Slash through. The mech heals him up, and No-Tail tries to battle through onto QO, but the damage output, Fly cannot black hole. And MVP have already taken down the big team fight ultimate here from OG.
Yeah, no Fly for 50 seconds. This is going to be MVP's
Miracle
best
back into the wall. They catch two only. MP and Febby Forever just battering away one by one. Miracle at least gets the wisp, but Forever.
They're going to go for the kite here.
They got the diffusal blade actually. Slowing him down. Miracle, Doppelganger in 13. There's no escape. MVP. Just Blade Fury through the damage, and now they've got the sustain. They can have Wisp back in 20 seconds. TP back from Ember Spirit, can return to the fight. Get his Battle Fury, and maybe look for Roshan.
Yeah, and worst possible scenario for OG is all three core melee heroes from MVP once again survive. Continue to rack up the gold if they want. They could just go for the Roshan and be absolutely safe. And Fly is just stuck in such a rough position because his team needs him to get a big black hole off. But against the lineup that MVP has, he can almost never get into position. They always play spread around Fly game. And without a Blink Dagger, not really sure how he's ever going to get in close against that lineup.
It is indeed quite a situation for Fly to be in. And he hasn't had the chance really to go and shove into these towers with his mech. The rest, usually when you look at Tide Hunter or an Enigma, the threat of that black hole just pushing into a tier 1, goading you, baiting you into a team fight. Come at me. Let me show you what I've got, but Fly is always the one that's being gone on. The long-range tools that MVP have between Sleight of Fist and Glimpse. And with Forev, SNY, does he have something new, or is that what he's just picked up? Looks like he just finished his SNY.
If they're going to stand a good chance in this game, Miracle and Crit, they're going to have to do a lot in this next fight. If they could get any sort of black hole duration off from Fly, that would be ideal. They still have a lot of good teamfight ultimates, so OG, by all means, is not out into this game. It's just going to get progressively rougher against these three heroes. As the Bristleback, it's not like he gets easier to kill as time goes on.
I don't think OG saw the Roshan there. They don't know who's in the pit and what HP it's on. They just know that Juggernaut was there with the Bristleback doing damage to the big man. And OG might feel inclined just to go and jump themselves in, but this is MVP strategically placed and all ready to fight with Moonmeander and Vax2 up onto the high ground.
Oh, they don't
and
have...
Forever the wall!
Forever doesn't have a
dropped.
TP?
There's a black hole as well, and two of them are caught up in the high ground. OG, they've caught them with a Wisp! Saves one and sends it back. They've got them now. No Tail, Weaver, dead. Screwed in the team fight, and Miracle on the retreat out. There's a hot one. QO and Forev still alive. They only lost the Juggernaut, but Crit tries to roll out. He'll succeed up into the high ground as well, but Fly and Moon, no ultis remaining. Miracle's still fighting. 1v4, he's trying to deal with them all alone, but you can't do it like this. Moonmeander backs back, but Miracle's dead, and Moon with a TP out. Maybe secures his own life back at the Founder, but it's cancelled. Moonmeander doesn't succeed. And even with the beautiful back wall, black hole on top, Febby once again comes up trumps with a save, but not just any save. Drags him into a position where they can continue fighting.
I'm so impressed that OG was able to somehow cobble together that kind of strategy to finally get the black hole off, and it was a great one. It's just, they're just a little bit too far behind, unfortunately.
Well, there you go, Roshan for MVP. And it's going to be given over to QO. What has he got up his sleeve? Fury and 2,000 gold. That crit not too far off for your Ember Spirit. Well, OG. No Tails Weaver. Still trying to build into the Desolator. That's pretty good against Bristleback. Not too bad against the Ember Spirit. You know, even as an Agi hero, his armor is pretty awful. 9 armor, level 15. Deso definitely can rip him to shreds.
Hey, speaking of armor, you've got Forev who's got 30 now.
Oh god.
They got him really low on that cliff, but the Wisp heal alone, plus the mech is enough to boost him up to max. And the Diffusal charges are down to 3. There are 2 heroes on MVP that have the Ghost Scepter now, both supports. And it's gonna take... I don't want to make puns, but it's really gonna take a miracle right now for OG to be able to hold this Rax push minimum.
Oh man. Forev. Time to wander on up. And with QO. He spent some of his money. Crit tries to just, you know, hassle them a little bit. With that Midnight Pulse, it's annoying. I don't think it's really going to halt this push in too much. And like you said, Febby is here, always ready to save his sweetheart Forev. Healed back up to full.
That healing ward too is doing so much work right now for MVP.
Oh, there's the wall back 3 caught, but what's the continuation? Static Storm will grab 2 of them. Moonmeander actually trapped in here, and there's nothing left for him to give. He can't do anything to save himself on the back end. The Ghost Scepter, Dubu keeps himself alive. Miracle will Diffusal through it, and Dubu finally drops. But Miracle at what cost? You've given up potentially your own life here for support, and over towards the back for Rev. Guess what he's
Miracle's
doing?
Gonna get out?
Guess what he's doing? 1v freaking 4. Miracle Doppelganger, he can dodge through this. The bottle charges keep him alive as well, but for Rev pushes them all back to the fountain as Febby kills off Miracle's Phantomancer. MP, no Aegis available, no Till tries to kill him off the wall, standing. MP can't walk through it, the heal through from Febby gives him life, the vacuum back though, and catches them both. Forever is gonna have to battle through it, and the Ghost Scepter from the Wisp keeps him alive as well, but guess who's back? Boys, QO's Ember Spirit, Fly and Crit, double chains, double slight, and no Tail. Maybe even double death from Crit. Boys back into the game. They have lost their melee racks, range racks sitting on 190 health. But MVP, they've still got some left in the tank, burning through all of Forev's mana. He's got no more quill sprays, but he's still got 600 health. Crimson Guard is popped in Miracle. No charges left on his Diffusal Blade, no purges. And Forev just trying to batter through. Can't see the catapult, takes down the final racks, down on his bottom lane. And it's just the waiting game as Forev stands his ground up on his ramp. Well, the rest of OG...
No Tail's gonna go down during that time too, and Forev is actually gonna walk away from this. Unbelievable.
Dubu's back. Dubu just respawned. Forev has outlasted every single player and hero in this game.
Yeah, and he's got probably the full Shivas completed to go along with this. Could go for the AC, but says, I'll just go for the early game alternative. I am running out of mana without the Wisp there. They still have the Aegis available on QO. OG, they still have the dream fight. They could go for the black hole into the wall vacuum, but even with that, it's looking like they can't even kill these guys.
MP, he's got his Omnislash in 9. All of your ultimates pretty much up here from MVP, and That fight lasted so long. You're looking at Forev 9-0 and 10. Has not died once this game. Of course, it's not all down to him. Healing ward, good snipe out there by Miracle with the illusion micro. Just sends it forward, rushes onto it. No tail. Desolator is finally up as well, but oh god, look at that crit! The damage from Ember Spirit takes No Tail down to half, and time lapse expended already. Fly, do you have that one big spell? Yes, he does. It's combo time. Just got to wait, bide. And let's see when your moment to strike is from OG, but MVP has got to be a mistake on their part, being overzealous, crowding around one hero. Let's see if they do it, because MVP, they're on this tier 3. Oh, QO is just burning through everything. He's got no mana left though. Aegis gonna be baited out here. Allow it to drop, or allow him to heal himself up. That's another tier 3 gone, Blitz.
They're going to make this as hard as possible for them. They don't even want to give up the Aegis at this point. And Vebi, we saw this at TI, or the Major actually, where the the victory mid boosters.
How many does he have? 2 so far. Aegis gone, Fly, ready with a black hole, vacuum back in the wall, but the Remnant back. Ember Spirit out and safe, and guess who's on the front lines? Forev. Bullying everyone around. MVP, it looks like they're just content to sit back and let the Bristleback do all the work. Wall is already down, but MVP, they're just dodging around it. No reason to walk through as they're looking to take this second lane of Rax with no problems whatsoever. OG, let's see the big black hole. Fly, where's your moment? When's your time? Forev stunned up, slowed down, no mana left, but Fly is trapped with the Searing Chains. Is he going to be able to get it down? He'll stink charge himself up, but the Static Storm is there. Moon Meander caught with the Omni Slash as well. And MP looks like they've just cleaned up house. OG will buy back on the Enigma, but Miracle. Oh, they get a black hole, but Blitz, I think this is just the consolation prize.
Yeah, no follow-up damage whatsoever. OG, they're going to GG out of this one as MVP. They were thorough in this victory as... And this 20k net worth lead, Rev doesn't die once, and they tried mightily to kill him multiple times. QO, they did such a good job of slowing him down in the mid lane as well, but ultimately he was just able to come back into the game. He was the one leading the frontline charges for them, and really well played by all 3 cores from MVP.
Yeah, we saw some great vacuums back into the wall, but your Enigma farming the jungle, getting that relatively quick